But this was actually the only full result that we saw in the Premier League today in terms of a win, because we saw lots of draws, Janusz. Let's talk about a team that you always keep your eye on closely, Liverpool. 2-2 with Brighton. Brighton, who we know the quality they possess, yet they seem to have lost their footing recently. Some questionable results with De Zerbi, but now quite a battle, 4-goal battle there between Brighton and Liverpool. What did you think of the game?
Yeah, I mean, disappointed with Liverpool. I mean, the first half, right? I mean, it seems, again, they have to go behind to start playing. It's a dangerous game, and it almost kind of, it's one of those things where you go behind and you come back and everybody thinks it's okay. It's a character building. It's good to know that you can come back. Well, that's all fine until you start losing these games. And today, in the end, even though Liverpool weren't at their best by any means, it has to feel in a way to Liverpool like 2 points lost, right? I mean, look at the difference 2 points make, because you've mentioned, a lot of draws today. If you Newcastle, West Ham, all the teams that are thereabout, right, didn't take advantage of that. So I thought it's a funny game, isn't it? Because I thought Liverpool were really, really bad in that first half, and yet just before halftime, 2 quick goals and Liverpool are ahead. And then you think that Liverpool would learn from that. Because Adingra obviously scoring the early goal. And right after halftime, Adingra had a great chance to equalize. Alisson came up with a big save, maybe a minute or 2 minutes in the second half. So again, if you look at those poor starts or lack of concentration, wherever it is, I think it's something that Jurgen Klopp, of course, is paying attention to. And he better, because I said it's a dangerous game to play. Liverpool at their best, we remember, were sort of kind of put in the fear of God in the opponents in the first 10, 15 minutes. Very often the games were done and dusted by then. And I think if you have a choice, you'd like to do it this way, especially with this Brighton team that just, hammering against, who was it, Villa last, we're talking the Premier League. Some key players out at left back. Again, 19-year-olds being introduced to the game. Very bad in the midfield as well. Mistakes in the back, set piece. And then, of course, the first goal, Van Dijk playing short. McAllister should have come to the ball rather than standing and waiting for it. So unnecessary mistakes. In the end, I think you take a point, but it has to feel like 2 points dropped.
Yeah, and then you mentioned Brighton there as well. It was Alexis McAllister's return to a club that he definitely loves so much and kind of puts him on the map, at least here over in the UK. But since he left, and some other players, we have seen Brighton struggle. A Brighton that really impressed everyone last season sort of lost their footing a bit. De Zerbi got a bit heated. Jurgen Klopp had to hold him back, or he probably would have been sent off himself. Just thoughts on Brighton and if they showed signs of this one in this game against Liverpool, that there's still plenty fight left in them.
Well, absolutely. I mean, they showed those signs after the Villa result, right? Midweek, they were down 2-0 in Europe and they came back 2-2. So a very, very good reaction. I think if you Brighton, you look at this as a reaction, although I think they themselves will say, well, how given the first half, they're going to say as well, 2 points drop, because they went ahead. They had chances. I think they dominated the first half at times in the second half as well. So I just think that's what you're going to get. You get Solly March playing on the left side, right? I mean, Pervis Estupinian was injured. Lamptey, who deputized for him very, very well a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember against whom he had 2 goals. So on that left-hand side, you're putting a player that not only doesn't play there, but you're taking away from your attack, because we know that Solly March has had a tremendous start of the season as well. So obviously this is a team that is forced to play some young players. Then they don't mind it, but they also don't have the sort of pressure to do that, right? Because if they do lose, you can almost kind of say, well, it's Brighton, right? Because it is Brighton and they can be wonderful. But the fact that they have to sell those players year in and year out gives them that excuse. I mean, they'll never be, no matter how good they are, and no matter how many times we're going to see the De Zerbi ball where they put together 30 passes and score a goal, this squad, this team is never going to be good enough to keep that consistency and have this experience to get themselves through tough spots like they had against Villa. That's their problem. It's just, I think, woven into the fabric of a club like this, because there are other clubs that can play well, but I don't want to say they'll never win it, because Leicester City teaches us a lesson, but I think that was a one-off, of course, and it will not happen for the next 100 years.